Hello and welcome to the Fossil News Update here at the COP25 UN Climate Summit here in Madrid. The Fossil of the Day award is given each day to the country that is the best at being the worst, who does the most to do the least, and who tries their hardest to make sure we do not reach a fair and just and binding climate agreement. Today's third place Fossil of the Day award was given to Belgium. Belgium's minister came here and was bragging about saving emissions by saying she was plane pooling, which, if you've never heard of it before, that's okay because it doesn't actually exist. But it basically means that if you, instead of taking your private jet, you take a normal plane, you can count the extra emissions that were saved. So it's actually sort of like saving the environment, right? Wrong.
Yes, you heard that right. Take that. Thank you.
But besides that, Belgium here is set to miss its 2020 targets and not on track for its 2030 emissions reductions targets either. And let's remember, Belgium has 4 different governments that need to come together on climate action. So maybe if they all took the train down here together, they'd have some more time to talk about it and they could come to the COP better prepared to say what they're ready to commit to.
We're watching you, huh, Belgium? We got your eyes on you.
Belgium does not yet have a clear position on the European climate neutrality for 2050, which is one of the major things that Europe is planning to become the first carbon neutral continent. Do they think that maybe the EU, with a long record of historical emissions, has to do less than the rest of the world? I don't think so. But Belgium, you still have a chance to provide clarity on that next week when the EU Council will vote on this. Oh, and one more thing is that they've been talking everywhere about their contribution to the Green Climate Fund, but until they actually start talking about numbers, we don't actually really know what they're talking about.
Congratulations, Belgium. Can we get a boo for Belgium?
Today's second place Fossil of the Day award was given to Australia again. And this went because of a comment they made that we need to break down the developing country divide. While they were saying that Indigenous people all over the world are affected equally, thus Australia has the same financial responsibility as some of the developing countries and most impacted countries such as Vanuatu, Tuvalu, or Bangladesh.
First Peoples don't separate our livelihoods from our environment, our culture, or our climate. Successive Australian governments have failed to address the climate impacts faced by Aboriginal communities.
Australia, since when do you actually care about your Indigenous peoples? Because your climate policies to date do not seem like you do.
In this context, that makes it even more disgraceful that Australia would claim concern for its First Nations peoples at home in order to wash its hands of its responsibilities as a wealthy nation and major climate polluter.
And today's first place Fossil of the Day award was given to Bosnia and Slovenia. Slovenia wants to fund Bosnia's coal addiction through the Slovenian NLB Banka, which is partly owned by the government and partly funded by the EBRD, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development.
When your brother suffers from drug addiction, you don't go giving him money to buy more drugs. You help break the addiction and get them off of that dirty lignite. Huh? It's not just any coal, lignite they're talking about here.
As Europe prepares to pledge to be the first climate neutral continent, it is shameful that European public banks are working to go in the other direction.
I proudly accept the award and would like to say that although air pollution is high in our country, we still do try.
Thank you very much. This has been the Fossil of the Day news update here at the COP25 UN Climate Summit in Madrid.